Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse pregame show with my good friend from Sports Vibes TV, Quis. What's up, brother?
Salute, George. How's everything, man? It's been a while.
It has been a while. I have not actually collaborated in many months. Many months. It's been interesting. I actually haven't made that many videos as well during the summer. I kind of took it off. How about yourself?
You and me both. It's been a while since I uploaded a video, let alone collaborate. So you're ahead of me there. But it's definitely dope to hop back on a call with you and talk some Knicks. I'm glad that season's finally started. I wish it would have started off a little bit better. But, I expect them to come out and put on a better show, and especially for my two top guys in Brunson and Julius Randle.
Yeah, that was it was really a good game to watch. I've learned a lot the past two nights about the NBA and the Eastern Conference. But the NBA in general, I mean, we've seen some great teams battle against each other. The Bucks battling the Sixers. That was an excellent game.
Yep.
And kind of similar to our game with the Celtics. When you consider, the team that was behind battles back, takes the lead, and then gives it up. Yep. In their case, I think they only tied it, right? I'm not sure if the Sixers actually took the lead at the end. I can't remember exactly, but
yeah, I don't know if they actually overcame it, but they made it a competitive game towards the end.
Yeah,
it really was a nice what do you call it, biting your fingers towards the end?
Yeah, nail biter, definitely a nail biter. Yeah. So game 2, we're going to talk about it. Thank you guys for joining us here. Again, my name is George. I'm into the Knicks-Verse. This is Quis from Sports Vibes TV. Subscribe to our channels. We'll be doing lots of lives and analytical videos, recaps, everything under the sun. And happy to, people are joining in the house. We got Eddie T, we got Dylan Lapolis, yes, and Connor Toolin. What's up, brother? Connor says it is a must win, and he says they will win.
You view it as a must win, George?
Our boy JD, he was asking us, and I personally don't, but I see why the vibe is out there. What's your feel? I mean, do you see it as a must win?
I mean, we're talking basketball here, George. If you were talking football and it was a second game, I'd say yeah, it's a must win because teams that start the season 0-2 don't really make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But we've got another 80 games after this one, so I don't view it as a must win. As a fan, I would like to see our guys come out, especially our top players, come out and perform a little bit better to make me feel better about this season. But I could definitely see this team, have a struggle trying to figure themselves out with the addition of some guys off the bench, trying to see what type of team they'll be this season, and they'll figure it out and make some adjustments towards the as the season goes along and be able to put together some wins. So I don't view it as a must win per se. I mean, it's an important game. It is a game against Trae Young and the Hawks, a team that we have somewhat of a budding rivalry against them. So it'd be important as a fan for us to try and win this game, just to have some bragging rights and also, try to get that first win of the season off our back and, move forward. But I don't view it as a must win. Like I said, I could see us losing, win 4 games, and then we're 4-2.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm not panicking, but there is a bit of a vibe out there, picking it up from the fans. I don't know if you're hearing it directly there yourself.
Yeah. I mean, but that's also a fan base that hasn't seen this team play in so long. And, when they finally do see them play, they want to see them, go out there and win and beat, some of these teams that are also vying for Eastern Conference supremacy. So I just think it's fans being a little anxious, not having Knicks basketball for so long. I don't view it as something that's make or break right now.
Yeah. It's just, I think it is a lot of, you know what? This is like the first year. Well, not really the first year. The past couple of seasons, the expectations have been increasing. They've been higher.
Yep.
And last year, I would say, I think they met the team met the fans' expectations. I'm not going to say they overachieved or underachieved. I think they kind of met them. We wanted them to get out of the first round, and they did it. So
kudos to them.
Yeah, kudos to them. But I think now we're in here. Hey, what's up? Lex is in the house.
Hey,
what's up, brother? Lex. Hey, shout out to Lex, best mod around.
Yes, sir.
The team this year, because they didn't do much in terms of a big move, just kind of like retooled a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Vincenzo and found a home
for Obi.
Yeah. It seems like, okay, well, you guys believed in this team so much. Now you got to show us, show us why. And that first game, Brunson and Randall struggled so much, and yet we were right there. We even had the lead with 6 points. Mm-hmm. So that actually made me feel good. I said, I'm excited by this loss. In the recap, I said something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far either, George. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a must-win, and I wouldn't say I was excited by the loss. But there were some positives you can take away from it. I do agree with you there.
Yeah. What was some of the things that you really liked that you saw in the game the other night?
Got to start with Emmanuel quickly, I believe. The confidence you saw with him with the ball in his hands, him knocking down his shot, coming, using those screens to get a little bit of daylight, knocking down the three, still solid defensively out there. I loved what I saw from Emmanuel quickly. You saw a guy, it seems like he might have a chip on his shoulder, not getting that extension, and he's a guy that's playing for something. He's playing for a position or an opportunity to, change his life and the life of his family. So I liked a lot of what I saw from Emmanuel quickly. I also saw, some of what I saw from Quentin Grimes, the decisiveness from him whenever he got the ball. The jump shot looked smooth. So definitely like what I saw. And then RJ, I think RJ was also a steadying force for us. Randall and Brunson didn't really have it going, but RJ was really that guy that kept us in it when we needed a bucket. He was able to make some plays. So those were some of the positives that I took from the game.
Those are big positives. Those are big positives. Yeah, down the line, those were all tremendous positives. And I even looked back, like, RJ ended up shooting only 40% overall, 8 of 20, but I counted at least 3 shots that were like heaves. Like buzzer, like they got him the ball with like a 1 second left, and he just had to chuck it. And then you look at cleaning the glass, they scrubbed that out. They scrubbed those out. So he ended up shooting 45% on cleaning the glass. So that shows like he was a very, very productive player that day, that game. And I like that it feels like he's carrying through the good things that happen in the playoffs. Then in FIBA, there's some down games here and there you're going to get, but they're less often now. He had like one really bad game in FIBA. That was it. In the playoffs, the first game and the last game of the whole playoffs for him were subpar, but the rest in between were excellent for him. That's very, very exciting for me that he's becoming more consistent and having less terrible moments, less terrible games. And his passing. He was kicking off the hockey assist. I like that. I want to see that from the whole team. That was one of my keys for success for this team this year. Really digging into the hockey assist concept, which meaning, just move the ball. We've been crying out for that.
We've been saying that for years.
Yeah.
Since Tips got here, we've been screaming ball movement. Enough with the ISO.
Yeah.
But you can incorporate some isolation plays into your offense, but for the most part, you have guys that once they get the ball in their hands, they can make some plays and set things up for other guys out there on the court. And we just gotta, continue to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, I think the players themselves are going to find that they're going to want to lean into that even more so. Because now you would think. You
would hope. But Emmanuel quickly, man, he's trying to get himself a contract. And, he didn't sign that extension. I don't think he envisions himself here long term, especially since they couldn't come to terms with anything. So we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't, derail anything we got going on. He's saying the right things, though.
He's saying all the right things, and I believe him. He believes in God and having that intense faith and a great mother and all that stuff. You feel comfortable in your choices. You trust that everything will work out eventually. So I don't see him panicking. But I see him trying to earn the big bag, and he's going to get it. Let me tell you, he plays like this all year long. Oh, wow! He's going to get a big fat $35 million a year type contract. He will be. Wow, he will. You're going crazy. Quis. You think that Quis?
If he gets $35 million a year, then I
he's going to get. If he does this,
type of money,
he might average 19 a game from the bench. He averages 19 a game from the bench on 50, 40, 90 shooting, which we know he's capable of doing it.
We do not know he's capable.
Well, we know it's in his wheelhouse. We have to see it from him. Well, last year was a nice year for him. It's a really nice year for him.
50, 40, 90, though. I can't say we know that. I mean, coming into the league, we hoped he could hit that 40% from three, and the
that
efficiency
feels like it's possible this year. At least the 40%.
I like what I saw, like I said in the first game, but getting up to 50%, a field goal percentage, that's another question mark to see if he'll be able to eclipse that mark as well.
That's a bigger question mark for me than the 40% for the three. I think that's very much within, for how high volume he shoots it. If he's at like 38.5, that's fantastic for his volume. 39, but I think he can hit 40. Someone's going to give him one of those, like they're going to do to us what we did to the Mavericks.
But we didn't give Brunson 35. We gave him 26. That's reasonable. If somebody gives him 26, 28, I can understand that. But
contracts
he's not doing anything.
Crazy. Contracts have gone crazy.
Contracts have gotten crazy, but also a big factor into why Jalen Brunson got the type of money is because what he was doing in the playoffs. We haven't seen that from Emmanuel Quickley, so that's another equation of something that we have to factor into this equation.
Big point. Great
point. Whether or not he's able to step up this playoffs and perform to that level. If he's able to go off and average 23, 24 points in the playoffs off the bench, then I can see a team going crazy and giving him something north of 30. But him having a solid regular season and having a pedestrian postseason, I don't know if a team's going to go that nuts.
Yeah, I think he's gambling on himself being able to do that. He thinks, I underperformed in the playoffs. I know he believes in himself. He thinks he can do that. And if he does, more power to him, man. I love that guy. I think he's a fantastic player, his energy. When he's on the court, man, when he's off it, you really feel it when he's off the court.
Yeah.
I liked that Thibs kept him on the floor with Brunson. Because when he brought Brunson back in, I thought, oh, no, is he going to take IQ out? And he didn't. He may have taken him for a half minute, but I can't remember that clearly. But I'd like to see them play more together on the floor.
Yeah, I like that backcourt pairing.
Yeah. Who we got in the house? Tonight. I think so. Look, 2. What's up, brother? You might be wrong. Oh, yeah, he's not... He's not a believer. He's not a believer in the Knicks.
He thinks we're gonna be what?
We're not gonna be a good team.
We'll be a solid team. I think at bare minimum, we'll be one of the better teams in.
I think he thinks the wheels are gonna fall off. Which there's a lot of people that feel that way. Because we got burned 2 years ago. Remember? Yeah. The Fournier Kemba season. We're all excited. I predicted 53 wins and all that, and then.
Yeah, but also with that year that we fell off, we made some major changes. Like you said, we brought in Campbell, we brought in Evan Fournier. Those are 2 pieces that we inserted into the starting lineup. We really didn't make any massive changes like this season.
Right.
We really, for the most part, are running it back with Dante DiVincenzo added to the second unit. And, they're going to have to see how we can incorporate him to get him going, scoreless in his debut. But other than that, we really didn't make any massive changes. It's more so adjusting to how other teams play us.
Right. Exactly. So I think I'm with you. I think it's going to work. The thing that is worrisome is the lack of size in the second unit. What are your because I've talked already a lot about it in a couple of videos. So I'm curious what your feeling is about that, your take about that. Is it even a concern for you?
I think it's definitely a concern. I think there was a big moment in the game against the Celtics late in that, I believe it was the 4th quarter, where Josh Hart was able to rise up, and he didn't secure the rebound over, I believe it was Al Horford, but he was able to separate Al Horford from the ball. We were able to get that rebound and go down the other way. So, in instances like that, you can see Josh Hart being able to step up against other big players and, battle for rebounds. But I think there's going to come a time where we're going to have a matchup that is going to be unfavorable to us, and teams are going to be able to exploit it, especially in the playoffs. Because, the regular season, to me, I think we're going to be a solid regular season team. We have Tibbs, we have Brunson, we have Randall, and we have RJ, taking the next step. So I think in the regular season, we'll be fine. It's going to come down to, playoff possessions and, being able to battle and being able to, seek matchups and exploit them. I don't know if that second unit is going to be able to do that. And I don't know if the second unit is going to be able to withstand other teams that have, bigger bodies going out there on the court. So it'll be interesting to see. Tibbs is going to have to find a way.
There's some huge teams out there.
Yeah, exactly. Tibbs is going to have to find a way to mix match, maybe keep Mitch out there with the second unit some, because, he's going to be a beast on the boards. We
saw a little bit of that.
Yeah. Yeah,
we saw a little bit of that, and actually, that's people were complaining about Mitch's performance the other night, but when you look at his plus minus, he was a +1 because he was actually on the floor when we were making that second run in the fourth quarter, which I didn't think we were going to do it, where we actually took the lead. He was on the floor.
That was the 10 points in 50 seconds, or a little bit later after
something.
that?
I think that was the 10 and 50 seconds. I think something like that. Yeah. Yeah, he was a key part of that. Just his presence on the floor. We are going to need that's his size in the second unit, which actually wouldn't be a bad thing if you think about it this way. I know offensive rebounding is our superior power as a team compared to what do we excel at? That what's our thing? It's offensive rebounding. That's our thing, and it's Mitch. Mitch is the one who makes that. But we got guys like
Randall.
Yeah, Randall. Josh Hart. Yeah, we've got other guys, but Mitch is special at it. But even Isaiah Hartenstein, I think he finished in the top 7 last season of offensive rebounding, which didn't get enough notice because Mitch was number 1. What about the thought of, for floor spacing needs for the first unit, bringing in Hartenstein as the first one off the bench?
Bringing in iHeart and sitting down Mitch.
Yes,
it all depends if iHeart's going to be able to knock down the 3 efficiently.
That's
because if he's able to knock it down, then they're going to have to respect him, and that'll open up the paint a little bit more.
But we get his passing.
Passing as well. Yeah, you're right. Definitely another factor. But I think even if him being a solid passer, if he's not going to be a threat to shoot out there, you're just going to sag off and then try to block some of those passing lanes. So it's really going to come down to whether or not he's going to make them respect that jump shot.
And honestly, it hasn't been as good as I had hoped, especially the 3-point shot. What he did with the Clippers, I guess in hindsight now, it looks like there just wasn't enough sample size to really judge, and maybe it was overvalued. Yeah, overblown. What he shot, like 38% or something. I can't remember what he shot from the 3 for them, but he was efficient, and then he was getting hotter as the season went on. But he was taking 1 or 2 a game. It's like that kind of thing. Yeah, it wasn't much. But I'd like to see it. Let's put it this way. I think it's worth a look. If he's, first of all, in the second unit, he needs to get those opportunities, which he really doesn't. And when he does, it's like a desperado situation. The play is broken down. He finds himself out on the corner 3-point line and no one else is cutting. So he has to throw it up. So they haven't been good looks, like a nice catch and shoot. I'd like to see him in a catch and shoot situation, because if he can hit that, a pick and pop, a nice pick and pop, because if he can do it, then that becomes like a secret ingredient, not secret ingredient, but a key ingredient that first unit could really utilize. So we start out maybe 4 minutes, the first 4 minutes with Mitch, then bring Hartenstein in. He plays 4 or 5 minutes, helps with the spacing with that first unit, helps with Grimes, especially RJ driving and all that stuff. And then, you bring Mitch back in with the second unit towards the end of the first quarter. Something interesting. Not sure we'll see it, but it'd be nice to see that.
I mean, we've seen some of iHeart overlap with the starters, especially like late in games sometimes.
Late in games, we have.
iHeart. Yeah. Sometimes he'll close over Mitch.
Yeah.
Mitch, usually or occasionally he'll be in foul trouble, so we'll see that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I read somewhere, did you hear about this, where like the first quarter scoring is actually the most important scoring?
Oh, yeah? Who said that?
I don't know. I got to look it up, but I was hoping that you knew it. But yeah, because I just thought about that right now. I mean, we've given up so many big first quarters to people. But we've had some big first quarters too.
Yeah. We've had rough first and third quarters. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough, man. Shout out to the chat. We got Seeker in the house, K Wrights, Dwayne Dennis. What's up? Zorro Hudson. Oh, good name. Zorro Hudson. I love the names. Zorro Hudson says, we'll trade IQ mid-season. It looks like that's the plan. It does seem like, and that was in my IQ video that I put out, to me, it like reeks of Leon definitely wants the ability to make a big star trade right in season and his biggest trade chip is going to be Emmanuel Quickly from the young group. So
even more than RJ,
even more than RJ. Well, it depends. If RJ keeps doing what we're seeing now, that could change. But right now, I mean, come on, runner-up 6th man of the year. The guy's a spark plug, can shoot from anywhere, and his defense. Fans may overlook certain things like that, but the NBA knows. They know what a tremendous defender he is. And we even saw it in game 1. He was outstanding. And I like him in that second unit with the other guys with active hands, Hart and DiVincenzo. They caused some chaos. It was nice. I have a question for you, though.
Yep, shoot.
What would you like the team to do in terms of whether defensively, offensively, whatever it is, to improve upon what they did last season? Now, and I'm saying that, I don't mean like they got to change their stripes or whatever, but they are who they are. This is the roster we've got. But what would you like to see
in terms of coaching adjustments?
Yeah, or just the game. There's the game, the way we approach offense, defense, any kind of adjustments that you would like to see.
I'd like to see them feature Grimes a little bit more. That's definitely one thing. I was talking to Foxy. We and Foxy were discussing whether or not there should be a swap, elevating Grimes or elevating Quick to the starting lineup and then moving Grimes to the second unit. Me personally, I thought that it might have been better to keep Quickly with that second unit because he gets the freedom. But it also made me think, what if Grimes had a little bit more freedom offensively out there? And we don't really see that with the starters. He's more so like an afterthought. And, I feel like if we did a better job of trying to get him some more looks, I think we could, kind of raise his trade value in a sense. And also we can help develop him a little bit further. He spent some time with JJ Redick in the offseason, not only working on his jump shot, but also putting the ball on the floor and attacking closeouts. So I feel like if we try to feature him a little bit more, it might open things up with this offense. And also, like you said, the hockey assist, Grimes is very good at getting things started or, being the one to get that final assist. So if I had to make a change, I'd try to see if we can get Grimes involved a little bit more.
Why do you think? Why do you think? It seems like a no-brainer to me to do that.
Yeah, but think about who he's out there with. I mean, the guys he's playing with aren't really people that are out there looking for other people's shots. I know Brunson's a point guard, but that's not really Brunson's game. He can facilitate, but first and foremost, he's looking for his shot, and then he's
a scorer.
He's dishing outside once the defense reacts. Same thing with Julius Randle. Julius Randle's looking for his own shot, and RJ Barrett. Now, all three of those guys I mentioned, they can pass. They can, make plays, but for the most part, they're all one-track minded and they're looking for their shot and then trying to make the right play after that.
Well, they're gonna have to make that adjustment because he's the real deal. The guy can shoot like crazy. I've already voiced my disappointment about how they didn't feed him in that final preseason game at all after he shot 7 of 12 from the 3-point line the game before, where he had the freedom that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right. I think he might need a break from the starting unit. Or just keep him as the starter, but give him some more burn with the other unit so that he can get his groove.
I mean, they overlap RJ with the bench unit. Let's see him, try to do the same with Grimes a little bit and let him try to be a focal point with that second unit at times.
Totally. I would definitely. I think that's a must adjustment they got to do. They must get Grimes. Well, that was actually one of my keys to success. Get Grimes at least 8 3-point attempts per game. The guy's too great a shooter. I mean, if he's taking 8 3-point shots, that means one of the other guys are taking less, which is fine because they're not as good a 3-point shooter. If RJ handed over 2 of his 3-point attempts to Grimes every game, and so did Randall, boom, we got it. We're in a much better situation.
And he's a better shooter than the both of them. So as long as those are clean looks, if you play it by the numbers, we should get more points per play.
Totally.
Per possession.
All right, let's. Is there anything that you want to talk about the situation or anything, the team, the NBA, anything before we move on to the next topic?
Well, the next topic is probably what I would have gotten to, like how are we gonna make some major splashes, especially looking at what some of these other teams are doing around or doing in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
it's like an arms race.
It's like an arms race.
Mm-hmm.
And it's making. I'll tell you. For a while there, I was thinking, God, is there anybody who really can come here and make a difference? I was starting to doubt it.
You and me both, because I'm thinking the same way. Because if you look at the option, Spider, everybody's saying he's not going to be in Cleveland long term. If we make a deal and trade for Spider and bring him over here, are we going to have enough to compete with what's left? Same thing with a guy like Karl-Anthony Towns. Everyone's saying he's a guy that we should look to try to bring over. I don't think Karl-Anthony Towns is that guy. If we're going to give up 2-3 key players and a boatload of first-round picks, I think if we do get him, we're going to have to make additional moves in order to build a legitimate title contender. We might be, it might be we might be in the same position post-trade as we were pre-trade if we go out and use that many assets to bring in a guy like Cat. I mean, there was I forgot what podcast Scott Perry was on, but he was talking about, some of these guys aren't those singular forces where you can just make a major deal, try to bring them in and expect what's left to really be better than the team pre-trade. So for me, it's really just trying to look around the league and try to see who is that guy that we can target, that we can bring in, pair with Jalen Brunson, and still have enough to say, all right, we can compete in a 7-game series with Boston. We can compete in a 7-game series with the Bucks, that we can win those series and potentially compete against a team like the Nuggets in the finals. It's very hard to find a guy that's one, available, two, that's cost effective, that you can give up the pieces and it's still good enough with what you have left over. So that's, I think, puts the Knicks front office in a real tough spot right now, because like you said, the expectations are rising. I still think, even with the way this team is constructed, that we're still probably a second round finish, not necessarily a team that's going to be able to get to the conference finals. So it's going to be up to the front office to look at Emmanuel quickly, look at some of these other pieces, and try to put together a pretty good deal for someone that can help elevate us.
Now, there was something else interesting in that Scott Perry article, or the podcast. I've seen, I read Stefan Bondi's article about it, and then I saw New York Basketball tweeted it, and I saw parts. So it's like, I haven't seen the whole interview, but I've gotten enough pieces of it. Interesting part. He says, I know the fan base, people want names, but I'm here to tell you, and maybe my thinking is a little skewed by that experience in Detroit all those years with, quote, no names. But people forget, we went to 6 straight conference finals, 2 finals in a row with no names. We beat you with depth, and we were very talented. I'm not saying you can do that every time. Would you love to have a Giannis or Jokic? Yeah, that might make it easier to build around, but it's not the only way to build and win. I found that part the most fascinating of the whole thing. And everyone's talking about the Donovan Mitchell thing, which he basically said exactly what we were saying all summer long during the whole rumors. Don't overpay. He's not he doesn't move the needle. He doesn't win in the playoffs, which is ironic because we have a guy like Randall. So I guess they didn't want 2 guys like that,
Right? Crazy.
Yeah. But what do you?
And the one guy they were going to trade in that deal is the one that showed up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Cavs, right?
Yep.
Nuts.
Yep. And for all we know, Quickly was probably going to be in that as well. Even though but he had a 6 Man of the Year performance last season. It's interesting, this whole thing about trying to win without a superstar. It's happened. It just doesn't happen that often.
It's been a while. That was probably the last time, right?
Even though Dallas had Dirk.
Dirk is a name. Come on,
don't Dirk is huge, but Dirk was on the latter end of his career, and he was already there. You know what I mean? Like,
Dirk was a name that year, bro.
Oh, totally.
Dirk was a singular force back then, and they had a solid squad. You can't say
Dirk was the star, but only one star.
Well, he said no names, not one name. So the last time they were, and even the Pistons, you can't. It's hard for me to say the Pistons were no names because you had Billups, solid player. You had Wallace,
but they weren't superstars. Or Dirk is definitely obviously a superstar, but I'm saying he was in his latter part of his career, and it was only him. So that that was an interesting situation, and he was battling a super team.
Yeah, if you want to say he was the last time since there were 2, well, I guess the Bucks didn't have 2, unless you want to say
Bucks only had one. Yeah.
Bucks only had one.
Yeah, Bucks only had one. Yeah. So I mean, but
those are those singular forces.
Those are very unique.
About.
Yeah,
and those are far and few between.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And in lieu of that, because it is tough to build a team without a superstar, a championship team without a superstar. Inevitably, we're going to get to this discussion, which is, so who is next? Who is next? Who is the next big star that's going to get traded in the NBA, and will the Knicks be the team that trades for him? Those are the questions.
Why you did Embiid dirty, George? You got him drooling on himself on the pitch.
I know he's drooling.
I was about to wipe it. Like, was that my screen? What's going on there?
You know, it's funny. Like, I was like working on it, and then I noticed, oh, he's drooling. I'll leave it. It captures the moment well.
I don't know what moment you're trying to capture, but go ahead.
The desperation. Like, who's
all right, we'll roll with that.
Oh man, just quickly, just looking at these three, who would you pick really fast?
Embiid number 1, Levine number 2, Cat number 3.
Ooh, Cat number 3.
Not a big Cat guy.
Interesting.
You know, the one thing, if you do go and target a center, it does gives you the flexibility to then either include Mitchell Robinson in the trade or trade him in a separate move to try and bring some more depth to the squad. So, you know, that's why I would like a deal with Embiid, especially if Mitch isn't going. You know, I saw, what was the trade that they were circling around?
It was Mitch. There was Mitch, Randall, and RJ.
And RJ?
Yeah, that's a
lot.
That's a lot. And
that's a lot.
But only 2 first-round picks, which was weird.
I've hold more value in the players than the picks at this point, especially when you look at some of the shitty picks we got.
Yeah.
I mean, the Mavs pick probably conveys who else we have? We have the Pistons, right?
We have the Pistons,
that probably doesn't convey. We got we have
the Bucks. The Bucks is going to convey.
Oh, Bucks. Yeah, but the Bucks is like late 2025, right?
Yeah. For all we know, that may be the 30th pick.
Yeah, exactly. They just re-signed Giannis, and at one point that looked like a solid first-round pick because we didn't know what was going to happen with Giannis. You know, Chris Middleton, he might have left in free agency. We didn't know. Same thing with Brook Lopez. But now looking at that pick, that's another shitty pick.
Yeah,
you know,
I know. They're not. We'll have to give up some of our picks, but even our picks aren't going to have as much value as they used to because we're a good team,
decent. Yeah. So I hold more value in the players right now than I do the picks.
Me too. Though, I would like us to use our picks to bring in some more guys. I mean, the missing out on the last 2 drafts hurts. I mean, it hurts.
And us trying to put together a blockbuster trade, us not drafting the last 2 drafts in the first round is definitely going to make it difficult because now we have to offer up some of our blue chip young guys without anybody in the pipeline to really replace them.
Exactly.
Because let's say right now we wanted to make a splash and try to put ourselves in a position where we could try to make a deal and have some of the younger guys then step up to fill some of those bench roles. We really don't have anybody. We would have maybe Deuce who could step up, but I don't know if Deuce is really at that level where I want to be given heavy playoff minutes in the crunch time where we really haven't seen him excel in the regular season. Same thing with Sims. Sims is a young guy we could put out there if we do make a trade, but with Jericho, he's really stuck at that center position, and I don't know if he can really transition to the power forward position like they're trying to do. So we'll be limited in that aspect as well. So
he definitely looks like he's struggling to find his role right now.
Also, Senior Beefs had a good comment. He said Quick came in at 25, so all isn't lost. That is true. That is true. I do have faith in the front office if they have to make a trade and those later part of the first round. But what I'm saying is when it comes to putting together a package that another team is going to find tantalizing or willing to take the bait on, I don't know if they're going to look at it and say, oh, well, the Knicks found Emmanuel quickly at 25. Maybe we can hold that pick with a little bit more or in higher regards. So that's the issue.
We got
those late picks,
and we got Grimes at 25.
Exactly.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, you could definitely find good value in the draft, but whether it's going to be someone that pops, that's a whole other story.
And if another team has faith in themselves being able to find someone that can pop, because if they're looking at these later picks, you can send me 6 or 7 late first round picks. If I'm terrible at drafting, what's that going to do me?
Yeah. You know, I think the reason I might lean towards Cat in this situation is because of what you were talking about. I think it's going to cost a lot less. I know the Timberwolves will probably want to recoup from the heist for the Gobert trade, but then there's also reality. He might cost a lot less, and he is a very, very good player. He definitely would be an improvement. But would he want to play center?
Oh, yeah, he'd probably play center.
Yeah,
replace Mitch.
Place Mitch. So him next to Randall. So him, Randall, and Brunson.
That don't even sound like a nice trio.
It doesn't. It doesn't. But I mean, it could work. By work, I don't mean championship. I mean,
that's what I mean when I say work. I'm looking for a championship contender. If you're going to put all the chips, if you're going to go all in with your chips, you better come out with a championship.
I think he could get us to. He can get us to Eastern Conference Finals.
So to get to an Eastern Conference Finals, mean we would have to either beat the Bucks or the Celtics. So you think a trio,
one of those two? Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe if they end up on the same side of the bracket, we probably wouldn't have to. If they go against each other. But if they're 1 and 2, we probably have to face one of. We would have to face one of them. So I don't know if that trio gets us past Boston.
Yeah.
You know, the Bucks. If you do that trade, we're not going to be as deep, because I think the best way for us to try to beat the Bucks is our depth. I think once they go to their bench, it's a little bit shaky. But if we go out there, deplete our depth and go bring in a guy like Cat, I don't know, man. I don't look at him as a playoff performer. I just look at the efficiency numbers. It's a major drop off when you get to the playoffs. Like, yeah, I know, it's tougher to score. It's tougher to get your shit off in the playoffs and whatnot. But if I'm making a trade like that, I want someone that elevates their game in the playoffs. I want someone that takes their game to the next level, because then I can look at it and say, all right, I'm losing some of my depth, but now I'm getting this guy that's going to be out there 35 minutes in the playoffs, and he's going to be leaps and bounds better than everybody else on the court. Then I can stomach it a little bit. But when I go and trade for a guy like Cat, you can argue Cat is not top 25, not top 30 in the league. You can make that argument.
Not anymore. He was for a while. He had some great seasons. When Randall was having his first All-NBA season, Cat was having an insane season.
And the test you used was past tense. I'm looking for people that's going to take that and get better year over year.
How old is Cat?
Cat's fairly young. He can't be in this. He got to be like 30 or less.
You think he's 30?
No, I don't. Like 28, 29 if I have to guess.
Okay, if anyone knows in the chat, just drop it in. That'd be great.
Google it. He's 27.
He's 27. Okay.
Yeah,
he's younger than Randall. Right? Because he was that next wave after Randall left Kentucky. He was that next wave. They know each other pretty well. Like very well. But Senor Beef makes a good point. Homeboy doesn't want to play the 5. He doesn't want to bang anymore. So then that means you can't have him on the court with Julius and a center.
Yeah,
right.
One of those guys don't play in the 3.
Yeah, who's playing the 3? They're not. Yeah, and because Cat won't be able to cover any other threes at all.
Some of these guys not wanting to play center. Randall doesn't want to play center. Cap doesn't want to play center.
AD doesn't want to play center.
AD doesn't want to. I thought it said the league's not that physical anymore. What's going on?
Yeah, because they have to run around a lot. They have to, and then they bang as well.
Randall's not running around on the perimeter.
Randall is.
He's lumbering around on the perimeter.
Yeah, actually, I thought, even though Randall got off to a bad start and overall didn't have a good game, the first game won, I liked his adjustment in the second half. He wasn't forcing it. He was looking for his teammates, making plays. I think he made good adjustment, and I hope that carries through, because and I hope the Thibs talks to him about that, rewards him about that. I like the way he adjusted.
You think Tibbs is going to talk to Randall about something?
I don't know. I always wonder what kind of relationship they have.
We've been covering this team long enough to know Tibbs doesn't go speak to Randall. Randall goes and speaks to Tibbs.
Yeah. He tells him what to do, pretty much. At this point.
At this point. It's crazy seeing Randall involved in that trade rumor, though.
I know.
It felt like Randall was an untouchable.
But that makes sense. I mean, if you're the Sixers, you're going to trade the MVP for potential? Yeah, potential. No, you're going to trade him for an All NBA player, and that's what Randall is.
Well,
at least you can justify it. You can justify
it to the fan base, but I also think if you trade for, let's say, you trade for RJ, Quick, and let's say another young guy off our bench like Grimes.
Well, we don't have Obi anymore. Obi would have been a nice.
Yeah, Obi would have been a nice addition to that deal. But if not Obi, let's say Grimes. I think the fan base would probably be more in line with
the Sixers fan base.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the Sixers. Okay.
Bringing back those younger guys as opposed to bringing in Julius Randle. I don't think the 76ers fan base are that thrilled with Julius Randle's game. Because if you bring back those younger guys, you pair them with Maxey, who went off in that game against the Bucks. You've got like one of the better young, developmental backcourts in the league if you have Maxey and Quick back together again like it's Kentucky.
Yeah.
And you have RJ. You can have RJ out there at the 3. You can trade Tobias Harris, get him out of there, and then boom, his process 2.0. Because you trade Embiid,
which they love that. They definitely want to go through another process.
Well, listen, you trade Embiid, you're not going to trade Embiid and get back Randall and think you're going to be in a similar position. You're going to drop. It's going to be a drop off, and I think the fans are going to be less willing to see a drop off like that as opposed to them being real with the fans and say, all right, we're going back into a rebuild somewhat, but at least we still have young, talented NBA players that are not going to have us in a situation where we're winning 20, 30 games. I think that's a fair enough trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
That fans can look at it and say, all right, we'll be real. We had a hell of a ride with Embiid, got to the conference finals, lost to the Raptors on their journey to the NBA finals. Didn't work out, but let's retool, move off of Embiid, get back some young players, and try to build up again.
Well, they may have to do it. They may not have a choice,
especially with the Harden debacle.
Yeah, the Harden situation.
They got to figure that out.
Embiid is obviously going to cost a lot to get him. Mm-hmm. What do you think it would cost? Let's do this quickly for Levine. What do you think it would take?
Less than Embiid, probably more than Cat.
So 2 players, maybe one of them is a starter.
RJ, probably.
RJ quickly, and 1 first-round pick.
No, they're gonna want more than 1 first
2?
round pick.
2.
Same way the Timberwolves got to recoup from their Gobert trade. The Bulls got to recoup from their Vucevic trade. So they're gonna want at least 2, 3 first, maybe 3. I don't think they'll settle for 2.
So RJ, IQ, and 3 first-round picks is what we're talking about.
It's not what I would want to do because I don't want.
No, but it's what it seems like it would take.
Because also Dwight is saying stop the chat about trading Grimes. I'll be crazy. We're not saying that.
No, we're not trading Grimes. We're talking about
other teams would want if we were to approach them for a mid-season trade.
They're going to ask for him. They're going to ask for Grimes. What about Cat? Do you think a similar type deal?
Cat will probably be cheaper than Levine, but I still think it'll be costly. It'll be, I think, the same 3 first-round picks. Maybe they'll be willing. I don't think because you can't trade Mitch there. Mitch and Gobert don't work.
Mm-mm.
You wouldn't trade Randall, I don't think.
Quickly,
RJ.
Quickly and RJ. So the same. Quickly. Yeah. So a similar package.
Similar package, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, we don't have the young guys anymore to really make those trades. We haven't made any first-round draft picks, and we traded off Obi for chump change. So if you're trading with the Knicks right now, there's really only 3 young guys you're probably targeting: RJ, Quickly, Grimes.
Yeah. I could see Deuce getting thrown in as like the team needs. Yeah, he's a throw-in. He's a quality throw-in.
Yeah, but they're throw-ins. They're not going to be. They're not the first 2 or 3 names you'll see. They might even come after the first-round picks when they break down the trade.
Yeah. All right, we're getting close to game time start. So let's talk about this game here.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up, game 2. Yes, I know. Well, we've been hearing people like there's a little bit of a panic out there that this might be like, it's starting to feel like a must-win thing. We talked about it when we opened the show. If you missed that, but we like Quis and I don't feel it's a must-win game.
Important game, yes. Must-win, no.
Yeah. It would be nice to get the win. Of course, I want to win every game, but
especially when you see the upcoming games.
Yes, the upcoming games are.
It's not there, but I pulled it up. We got the Cavs twice. Who else?
We play the Pelicans tomorrow in New Orleans. Then we go to Cleveland, and we play in Cleveland. Then we have the next game is against Cleveland, but at MSG.
Yep.
Yeah, the first 5 games were going to be rough, and then we play Milwaukee.
Right.
That's game 6. So yeah, if we walk out of the first 6 games with a 3-3 record, I'd be happy. I'd be happy. Which means this game, which is why this game feels like a game we really need to win. We also need to make the statement that Atlanta, yeah, you did a lot, but you're not as good as you're not in the same class as us. Exactly. It's about establishing tiers here. Like, are we going to
more of a statement game than a must-win?
Yes, exactly. Beautifully said. And let's see. Look, the Hawks dropped to the Hornets.
They lost it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Sometimes I want to call them the Bobcats. I don't know why. They haven't been the Bobcats for years, but sometimes I just want to say the Bobcats.
They'll always be the Bobcats. I call the Sixers the Phillies. Oh man. So what do you think? You think we're going to pull this one out?
Yeah, I think this is definitely a game we should win. You look at, I like our backup matched up against their backup, and you look at, Jalen Brunson and Quentin Grimes. Brunson, we've got that offensive threat. Grimes, we've got a guy that we can throw on either, Trey, try to disrupt him. And, I think this is definitely a team we match up well with. I know we struggled with them in the playoffs a couple years ago, but I think since then, the Knicks have matched up well. You look at Mitchell Robinson. I think Mitchell Robinson can be a problem down there for them as long as he can keep Clint off the glass and impose his force down there. I think he's definitely going to be someone that they're going to have trouble.
They struggle when Mitch plays. The Hawks struggle when Mitch plays. Yeah.
Yep.
I think we definitely it's a game we're gonna take. Brunson basically neutralizes Trae Young in terms of the offensive output. They neutralize. They're both, poor defenders, so that's kind of a wash right there.
And we got Grimes to throw at DeJounte.
Exactly, right. Grimes to throw at DeJounte, and Grimes to make DeJounte work. And if they try to put DeJounte on RJ, he's going to be chasing him around screens constantly, and that's not going to be fun. If they hit their 3-point shots, of course, they have a chance to win. But the 3-point shot for them has been a little bit inconsistent. So I think if we play the same kind of game we played in game 1, we will win this game.
I don't want to.
Even if they're that ineffective, I think we can still win this game. They're nowhere near the classes the Celtics.
That is true, but I don't want to see us start 2 games off with Brunson and Randall.
Oh, I don't want to see that at all.
I don't want to see that. No way. I need something. I need some life from one of them.
Beautifully said, Lex. Free throws. Exactly.
Yeah. How do we go the whole stream and not talk about them not being able to knock down free throws, man? That was nuts. I was watching. I'm like, are they serious?
That was ridiculous, man. That was ridiculous. And then when Brunson missed the tech free throw.
Oh yeah. I'm like, come on.
Oh, let's talk about that, because right before
I didn't even think that was a tech, honestly. So I was like, damn, ball never lies. I thought because I didn't think, to be honest, I didn't think that was a tech. You thought it was a tech? You thought that was a malicious or whatever they want to call it?
No. I mean, no, I wouldn't have called it as a tech, but they called
elbow him. His hand caught him. The elbow didn't even connect.
But how about the foul that they didn't call? They called it on Brunson when it was Tatum who encroached him.
Yep.
And then the NBA, that totally changed the momentum of the game. Because he should have been shooting 3. Yeah. But this was late in the game. This was like, what, with a minute and a half left?
I'm talking about something? In the 2-minute report, there was like 3 different plays that the refs messed up on. There was an intentional foul by RJ. I think there was also, forgot what the other one was. Might have been a travel or something. There were a few plays that they missed on that last.
It definitely cost us. They definitely hurt us for sure. For sure.
Yep. But you can't even be mad because we didn't do what we had to do to make sure that the refs didn't have to get involved. Because if we hit our free throws, there's no question we win that game.
No doubt. No doubt. We definitely win. And the game is going to start pretty soon. So we're going to wrap it up here.
I got the game on my phone right now.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So we're both predicting a win. It's a nice statement game. It's not a must win at all, but it's a statement game. We want our team to establish who they are out on the court and make people understand that they're going to have to battle us every night if they want to get a W from us.
Yeah, my thing is you call it a must-win game. You kind of water down that term, that phrase, because it's a must-win game. It's game 2, they lose, and then they end up in the playoffs still. At that point, can you call anything a must-win game? Because the must-win game they had to win, they lost, and they still ended up doing decent. So hard to say must-win game in game 2.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching this. Hit the thumbs up button for us.
Bro, did you see that air ball? Oh, that was terrible.
Hunter?
No, I think that was RJ.
Oh, it was RJ? I think it was blocked.
Well, was it? Oh,
yeah, it was blocked. Yeah,
because if that's what he was trying to do, God bless us.
Totally. All right, let's get this game. I'll be doing the post-game recap. I'm probably not going to go live. Just going to do it recorded and drop it. But we'll be doing more shows. Subscribe to Quis at Sports Vibes TV. You're going to
film breakdown.
You're going to do some film breakdowns?
Yeah, I was supposed to do one for game 1, but you know how work goes.
Yeah. What about the Sunday streams?
Sunday? No, not this Sunday.
Not this Sunday, but eventually you're going to bring back the Sunday streams?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Lex for holding it down. Thank you once again. Shout out to Wiz BKLA, Senior Beef, Lex, Dwight Young.
Preseason form. Oh, nice dunk by RJ.
There we go. I predicted 49 wins based on a 79 game schedule. What is your prediction?
79 game schedule.
Yes, because 3 games are not scheduled because of the in-season tournament. Yeah, so that,
Oh, nice block. Yeah, I would say 48.
47,
48, but I'll go on the high end of that 48.
All right, there you go. So we're going to have ourselves a team to root for this year. I'm excited. And we're going to have a lot of fun breaking it down for you guys.
Cookies.
Yes. All right, man. Ready?
Yes, sir.
We will see you around the Knicks-Verse.